Hey guys, Dennis here with Source One Environmental. Today we're going to be working again with some Hyperform, another good Quadex product. It is a rapid setting, high strength material, mainly designed for filling large voids and reconstructing inverts and benches. Today we're going to be using it to fill in this void here. We found a section of wall that's going to simulate a manhole, and we're going to use Hyperform to fill in this wall right here. So let's get to it. So before we use our Hyperform to repair our manhole, there's a couple of things you have to do for prep work. You're going to want to make sure that all your surfaces are cleaned off. You're going to use a vac truck to suck up anything that's in the manhole. You're going to want to use a high pressure wash, 5,000 psi or above, to clean your walls down, make sure they're clean. Maybe some other Quadex products like Quad Plug to stop water infiltration, or some sort of grout. That's going to be your prep work before you can use Hyperform. So here are the tools you're going to need when working with Hyperform. Of course, we got our 60-pound bag of Hyperform. We got some filler rock right here. Got a small putty knife, a small trowel. We have two smaller buckets, one that's filled with some water and the other is filled with some loose Hyperform. So why do we have these two smaller buckets like this? Normally when working with Hyperform, you're going to be using smaller amounts. You'll be mixing in smaller batches. So you're going to be kind of putting them into a small putty amount, and you're going to apply it here in your void. Okay, we're going to begin to mix our Hyperform, and let's jump right into it. So we got some water, we got our pails of Hyperform right here. So first we're going to start out with a little bit of water. I would say 1 to 2 cups of water. We're going to mix in a 5-pound bucket. Pour a little in there. Now I'm going to have Brad mix our Hyperform, put it in the water. I'm going to mix as he's pouring. That's pretty good. You can use a trowel. You can even use your hand to scoop it up a little bit. So we're just looking for a nice consistency here. Oh, and give me some more. Yeah, it's going to be good. All right, so we're going to work this in. No, that's perfect. Okay, so as you can see right here, it's a nice consistency. It's not too runny. It's going to be able to stick in that void. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring this over. I'm going to use a little bit of this to kind of set in the back before we set our filler blocks. Again, you're working with smaller quantities. You don't have to mix a ton to begin with. Okay, looks like we got a nice base coat of Hyperform there, just enough for our blocks to stick. So here comes our filler. Alright, put a little more putty just to keep it from sliding out. There's a nice rough base for us to start filling in. Okay, want to give me some more water? Just a little bit. Okay, so our work time on Hyperform, in 70 degrees, you're looking at 10 to 15 minutes for a work time and 40 minutes for a cure time. We do call for a full 24-hour full cure. All right, Brad, give me a little bit of Hyperform. And we're going to use the rest of this to put a nice coat. We're going to fill in all our gaps. We're going to make it nice and even. All right. So again, as you can see here, it's not too runny. And we're going to start packing it in. Just using my hand for now just to fill in that gap, and then I'm going to use my trowel. I'm going to go over it and give it a nice even edge. Right, let's mix some more up so I have some more to work with. Go ahead. It's sticking nice, it's not running down the wall. That's a consistency that you want. So normally on a job, you'd have a guy up top doing the mixing, one guy in the manhole that's going to be applying it. So Brad would be mixing, maybe handing me down a bucket, and we'd be applying it as we go. It's pretty good. All right, so I'm going to fill this little bit in here. Perfect. It's not slouching down. We don't have any run. Another handful. Here we go. Let's grab our trowel. We'll put some finish on it. There we go. So it's okay to over apply, get a good base. You can scrape the excess off later. So to finish it up, I'm gonna take a decent sized brush, just dunk it in a little bit of water here, and you're just gonna scrape over it nice and easy, just to give it that nice finished coat. Okay, so now we've finished filling our voids. We're going to use a thinner consistency Hyperform to put a nice skim coat on it. Okay, now we're going to dip that brush in some water to give it a nice finish. It looks good. Okay, so Hyperform can be used as a standalone manhole rehab product. What you'd want to do is maybe coat it over top of it with an epoxy, maybe a Quadex structure guard, so it will hold up against the sewer gases.